And welcome back to another episode of Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots. It is Friday, September 29th. I am at Hop BFF, Christopher Hopper, and we are here with the news presented by Beerfield Fantasy Football. As always, you can check out the show on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Beerfield Fantasy Football Podcast. Let's get started. News. 49ers, Carlos Hyde will be a game-time decision for Week 4. So Matt Breida is his handcuff. Breida is owned currently in 0.9% of ESPN leagues. He was able to finish the game last week, so I'd be really surprised if he doesn't play. But if this game gets out of hand, expect to see Breida. And if he doesn't play, be ready to jump on him. If you're a Hyde owner, it may not be a bad idea to stash him anyway just in case. In Arizona, John Brown will play again in Week 4 before he's hurt again for Weeks 5, 6, and 7 because every time he plays, he ends up with a soft tissue issue. This does have some impact on J.J. Nelson and Jerron Brown. Temper your expectations for those guys because when John Brown plays, he is on the field. He does take over that wide receiver 2 role as long as he's healthy enough to be productive, and I fully expect that he will be this week. Melvin Gordon was a full participant in Friday's practice. He is still listed as questionable, but he should be good to go for Sunday, so feel confident starting Melvin Gordon. Julio Jones is no longer on the Falcons injury report. Also no longer on injury reports, the Titans' Delanie Walker, the Panthers' Kelvin Benjamin, the Browns' Duke Johnson, Isaiah Crowell, and Kenny Britt, and the Patriots' Danny Amendola. So roll them out as normal. For Oakland, Michael Crabtree is questionable to play versus the Broncos. Look, if you're a Crabtree owner, a contingency plan here isn't a bad idea anyway. Broncos have a really, really good secondary. I don't expect a whole lot out of the Oakland receivers this week. However, he's questionable, so have a contingency plan ready. Bill O'Brien had some nice things to say about D'Onta Foreman, calling him a 3-down back, saying he was a smart kid, picked up quick, had good hands. Definitely sounds like he's the running back in the future, so he should definitely be owned in Dynasty. If you're a rebuilding team, maybe not a bad asset to try and include in a trade if you're trying to flip people around, as long as Lamar Miller's is there. And expect this to be evolved more and more into a DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry type of split as D'Onta Foreman continues to look like a very efficient running back. For the Steelers, Martavis Bryant got some chicken soup. He got his Dayquil, got his Blankie. Listen to the podcast from today if you want to get those references. And he's good to go this week. Sean Lee is missing from Cowboys practices. He's questionable to play. So this is really good news for Todd Gurley if the Cowboys' best linebacker is not in. Speaking of run stoppers not playing, Ravens defensive tackle Brandon Wilson's not going to play Week 4. Help to Le'Veon Bell. Steelers are on the road, though, so their offense tends to scuffle on the road. Sammy Watkins is cleared from his concussion. They played Dallas, which has a terrible secondary. Goff figured out how to work him, start him, and feel good about starting him. Jamal Williams' MRI came back negative. He may miss next week, however. This is after he was subbed in for Ty Montgomery, who was suspected broken ribs, but apparently not as bad as they expected, so not broken ribs. However, even if they're bruised and he plays, could be shying away from contact. So Jamal Williams, you probably weren't going to start him anyway. Ty Montgomery, if he plays, upside could be limited. He does still have that safe value in the passing game, so I don't expect him to be any less safe. Aaron Jones is the cuff, though, if neither of them are going, and he looked good as a runner. Doug Baldwin's going to be a game-time decision for Seattle, but he's on track to play, is practicing. For any reason he can't go, Paul Richardson and Tyler Lockett stand to benefit. Richardson is only 3.8% owned, so it could be a streamable start for a wide receiver. For Tampa Bay, Quan Alexander and Levante David are both expected out versus the Giants. Better news for Evan Ingram than it is this running game. This running game's not good. If there's a week where you're going to start Paul Perkins, I guess this is the one to do it. I would just prefer not do it, though. Matt Forte is out for the Jets, so start your Bilal Powells. They are going against the Jaguars, who actually don't have a very good running defense, and Powell should have nobody other than Elijah McGuire to fight for carries for, who should get 7 to 10. So expect Powell in that 20-25 touch range. John Ross, Tyler Eifert, they're both out versus the Broncos for the Bengals, so not a whole lot of surprises there. John Ross, you weren't starting him anyway. Tyler Eifert, I just can't stay healthy. It's really sad. Speaking of people not healthy, Kenny Golladay is still not practicing for Detroit. He is probably not going to play. Marvin Jones will draw Xavier Rhodes. So Golden Tate's really the only Detroit wide receiver I would want to start in this. Eric Ebron becomes a better start at tight end. Somehow, after a 3-week suspension, Willie Snead is questionable with a hamstring injury. So he's already gotten himself injured, I guess. I wasn't going to start him anyway this week, and I wouldn't recommend starting him anyway this week until you see how he's used. He has been missing. Ted Ginn was the number 2 through the preseason. Kobe Fleener, you saw get a little bit of usage, so just keep your eyes on that situation there. J.J. is questionable in London versus the Saints. He played last week. I expect him to play again. They're saying game time decision. It's an 8:30 game, so make sure you're up to check on that if you're relying on J.J. Other than that, if we hear anything else, we'll let you know. Nick will be with you with another Shots episode tomorrow. Davante Adams suffered a concussion after just a stomach-turning hit from Danny Trevathan. On one hand, it was helmet to helmet. On the other hand, you don't know, could Trevathan have stopped? Why wasn't the play blown dead? It was just a bad situation, and you hope that this isn't longer than a week or two for Davante Adams. It was really scary, and it's a good news. And a concussion, yes, they're bad, but it's relatively good news here. We like to joke and have fun, but there was nothing funner to joke about with that hit. Also from that game, John Fox left the door open for a quarterback change with the Bears. Probably a good idea. Your quarterback fumbling the ball twice and throwing interceptions doesn't normally win you football games. Don't know that they're necessarily trying to win, but look, Glennon's not going to do it. Trubisky's not going to be any worse. You might as well get him some experience with it because it's been bad. It's been real bad. Further, the Patriots, Rex Burkhead is doubtful with a rib injury again versus Carolina. Gillislee should have a touchdown this week, I would guess. James White, though, again, the guy to start. Didn't really pan out last week. Suspect the Patriots will try to take advantage of this bad secondary again and work the ball downfield. And finally, one last piece of injury news. CJ Prosise, doubtful versus Indianapolis. That's all the news we got today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. Nick Sparks will have your final news updates, your in and outs as we get you prepped for injuries. Podcast released today, so please go like, subscribe, whatever it is you do with those things. Download, listen, make fun of. iTunes, Google Play. At Beerfield FF to follow us on Twitter, Beerfield Fantasy Football, and all other social media platforms. I am at HotBFF with 2 Ps. Feel free to tweet us or DM us your fantasy football questions. We'll always be happy to answer. And otherwise, Nick will see you tomorrow, unless you're into DFS, in which case, flip on over and watch the DFS video. Thanks.